Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 1027. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
It's part two of our Jamie Magnus Stone Miniscope today. Director Jamie Magnus Stone, which we eventually got to last week. I don't know if you recall that. We blathered on for an hour.
Endlessly,
before we got to the main event. It's almost like, you know, I like that we pre-record a lot of these features because it's you know, it saves time for later. It rewards our Patreon supporters for getting some of this stuff earlier. But oftentimes we think that, oh, we've got an episode to fill, and so we'll banter for 50 minutes.
And we were ranting about Star Trek, which we did off air just before this. Hopefully it's out of our systems.
Yeah, we do sometimes, folks. So we get on the call at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And it's now 10:22.
Yeah.
We've literally, for the past hour and 15 minutes, been ranting about this, sharing links about that, going off. We don't actually talk about Doctor Who in the pre stuff, but
undirected fury,
fury, just to sort of get it out.
From you guys at Star Trek, yes.
Yeah, you know, it's the biggest, probably the longest warm up in podcast. So if you think that our actual episodes of banter is wildly unfocused and goes on for you,
you're correct.
You're correct, but it could be even worse.
So all that for, you know, two minutes of banter on this that says nothing as well.
Nothing as well. Yeah. Just if you download this episode or play it or wherever on Spotify or YouTube or on your podcast catcher, you're thinking 2.5 hours. What the hell are they talking about? It's because the Miniscope is like 50 minutes. Mm-hmm. And what you're listening to now could very well expand to an hour and a half. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Even though
let's try not to, though.
No, absolutely. There was a time we were sort of like looking, oh, you know what? We should do like shorter episodes, like 45 minutes to an hour. And like, who wants that when there's no Doctor Who on the air, right? I mean, This is it. This is your weekly Doctor Who.
It's pandemic holdover too. Like when you were stuck at home doing nothing, it's like a 3-hour podcast. Sounds great. What else am I doing?
Right. I know what you mean. Yeah.
There's one podcast I listen to, Talking Simpsons, that 3 hours sometimes is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, they've got. That's one of the reasons I do contribute to Retronauts, which is another one of their podcasts. But I don't to Talking Simpsons because they send out too much stuff, and this is a bad problem to have. Too much stuff, and some of it was like 5-6 hours on some cartoon I never heard of. I'm like, I can't justify paying for this. I don't listen to it.
That's a lot.
So they do good work. I'm not crapping on them at all.
They do great work with some awesome deep dives. But
that's just too much deep dive for me sometimes.
Yeah. Wait till you listen to the deep dives we do on Ascension of the Cybermen and the Timeless Children. Kids, that's
middling dives.
That's what we're covering today. I hasten to add, we're covering the direction of these episodes, less so than the writing, which I understand would a lot. I don't remember now because I think we mostly deal with direction and stuff, but there are some aspects of the storytelling that perhaps is less favorable amongst the fan community, and maybe we reflect some of that. But
we've certainly done worse in keeping on topic.
Yeah, commentaries for one.
Versus other miniscopes.
I do my
commentaries
best,
where it's right in front of you, and yet we don't let that stop us.
I know. Yep. Anyway, we're recording this on August 9th, 2025. Happy 20th anniversary to Podshock, Doctor Who Podshock, which started this day 20 years ago. I don't know when they stopped. When did they stop? Was it before or after the 50th anniversary? I can't remember. I think it was
before. I don't
remember now. Yeah, because I don't know. They just faded out. They did the smart thing and just faded away. Whereas we just carry on.
Idiots,
yeah, we just keep doing it because we don't know what else to do with our lives. So well done. I know. And Ken, obviously, Li Who is happening in a couple weekends from now. August 22nd to 24th, I think is what the dates are. Of course, up in Long Island. So. So that's sort of that's sort of the natural extension, I think, of Podshock. But I mean, I to be fair, I hadn't listened to any Doctor Who podcasts until we started doing Doctor Who podcasts. So
Reality Bomb's the only one I listened to.
Well, I mean, like in the early days is what I mean to say.
Oh, I see.
Like, like a lot of people think Podshock was probably their first because it was the first. It was the second compared to the Who cast in Germany, which is still going, but is far less frequent. I think they only had like their 500th episode or something relatively recently, but they are actually have gone on even longer. Germany, there's a German Doctor Who podcast.
Congratulations, WhoCast.
Yeah, I think we're the third longest. I think we're the third longest running, but obviously we're still going, and we have the most episodes of those three, even though Tin Dog has about 1,100 or something like that. But yeah,
according to Podchaser.com, the last Podshock was April 6th, 2018.
2018,
completely wrong.
Well,
episode 343.
Wow. 343. Come on, Podshock. You could have done more than 343.
Why we hate women as Doctor Who. That's how it went out.
That's not how they went out. No, it isn't.
Not how it went out.
For whatever it's worth, just I don't know, just to, toot our own horn or whatever, I guess. But also at the bottom of that page, there's a list curated by Podchaser for. It's called Alonzi Best Doctor Who Podcasts. Right. Number one is us. Number 2 is Verity, which obviously has a very close connection with us.
Right.
And then in between those, Lazy Doctor Who is number 3.
I didn't write that list, I swear. Erica and I did not.
But you might as well have.
Yeah, we did not write that list. I saw one. I like how Happy Anniversary Podshock. Here's why we're great.
Complete aside.
I saw one ranking system that said here are the top podcasts. And it says one of the top one, Doctor Who Radio Free Skaro. That's pretty cool. Number 2, Radio Free Skaro. Okay.
So how does that work math-wise?
I can see how this was collated. I think for a while in the early days, again, Happy Anniversary Podshock. Here, we'll talk about us for a little bit. We were just Radio Free Skaro, and then we decided, wait a second, all these other podcasts just put Doctor Who in their name, so we should do it for SEO purposes. So we did. We're officially Doctor Who : Radio Free Skaro if you search for us. And that,
what do we do for AI purposes?
And that's what jumped up.
Horrific views.
So the AI will read us. Peter Ustinov, apparently, all the Peter Ustinov fans have come by here because wait a second, he did because if you don't know, if you type in Peter Ustinov Doctor Who into Google, AI will tell you that while Peter Ustinov did not play the Doctor, but he was considered several times, and he did voice the Doctor in Doctor Who in the Invasion, produced by Radio Free Skaro.
Yeah.
Because we had an episode title called Doctor Who in the Invasion with Peter Ustinov.
The thing is, you'll get different, equally wrong answers. That's not just that one.
It has alternated. It has changed throughout the past few weeks that we've put that on. So
it's also... I had forgotten about this, but on the Seeds of Doom DVD release, there's a documentary about Seeds of Doom called Podshock.
There is, I know. Yeah. And I complained, I think I even complained to Russell Minton, only half jokingly, that like a little feature on Alexei Sale from Revelation of the Daleks, because he's a DJ, Radio Free Skaro was right there. It was right there as a DVD extra, but the season 22 set came out. No such thing.
Didn't we get snuck into the Hitchhiker's animation stuff?
Yes, Graham Kibble-White did the preview, the promo for an audio thing. Yes. But then, Warren, I don't know if you heard this.
That was a big Finish thing.
Big Finish. I don't know if you heard this, Warren, but I interviewed Chris Hayden, film editor from the War Games.
No, it's never come up.
And he had...
Frankly, it's kind of dull news.
I know. He had some War Games footage, original from 1969, and then they sent that back and they got on there. So we're on a Blu-ray Extra on the War Games in color. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we did. Happy anniversary, Podshock, by the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
God.
Could you imagine if that interview happened after the War Games in color was...
Literally, if we had done it a week later, it would have probably not been on there. That was that, and obviously we had no idea that they were making a colorized version of it. But so kudos to Toby Haydock for knowing I knew that he would be up at 12:30 a.m. In the UK or whenever it was that I
probably working at his comedy club.
Yeah, no, he was
getting off stage. Maybe
it wasn't a Thursday. It was like a Monday or something like that. Because I think he's Tuesdays at XS Malarkey. Anyway, I don't remember when I interviewed. September 24th, I think it was 2023. And
2024.
24, obviously, yeah. I'm losing track of the years. Anyway, I knew that Toby would be up, and this is like literally as soon as I got off the call with Chris Hayden, I emailed Toby Hayden like immediately, like, oh my god, I think there's HD footage. We gotta get this going. And like within a week, it was in Peter Crocker's hands, and they were restoring it and colorizing it. It was amazing. So. Happy anniversary, Podshock. 20 years of podcasting.
Making it about us.
Yep, although they stopped in 2018, but, you know.
Unintentional. Sorry, Ken, and sorry, Lewis, and sorry, James.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, the podcast universe expanded exponentially. I remember when we had the first little podcast panel at our first Gallifrey one was 3 podcasts.
7 people at a table, something like that.
Nine people on the panel representing 3 podcasts.
3 podcasts.
Tachyon TV being one of them.
I don't
pouring
think
one out for Tachyon TV.
Yeah,
and not counting Simon Harris, who was in the audience.
Yeah,
I think we had fewer the people than that in the audience.
Yeah, that wasn't that
maybe a comparable amount.
Yeah, but the next year, 2010, I remember there was 9 people on the panel, but 1 person from a different pod, and there was probably 2 or 3 in the audience still too. So that was sort of the legacy that they kind of created. Being the first and being the only one really we started a year later, but let's face it, we didn't really find our audience or our voice until we started going to Gallifrey 1, in 2009. So, and they were being first out of the gate. I think they got I remember several years ago when I had an office job and I could afford to listen to things day in and day out, and on my way, I listened to the whole back catalog, and it was just fascinating to hear the progression of their involvement in early modern Who fandom, as the show was being made, and they're sort of getting these access and interviews, not necessarily interviews and stuff, but just hearing that, and they're because they're the only podcast in there, basically they were first out of the gate, and just hearing that kind of excitement of those early days, it was kind of cool. So happy there he is, happy 25th there. That was actually legitimate, so they're well done us. What else we got here? So hey, this is big news. Speaking of conventions and stuff, LI Who, of course, happening in a couple weeks in Long Island or Long Island. Christopher Eccleston, 9th Doctor Who himself, is coming to Chicago TARDIS this November, Saturday only. Big, huge announcement, though, obviously. Christopher Eccleston, who, yes, I did interview. I don't know if you heard that either at Gallifrey 1 in 2020.
I never heard that, didn't ask.
It was cool. It was a cool moment, and let me tell you, Chris Eccleston coming to Chicago TARDIS is pretty way cool. Well done, Chicago TARDIS, for getting him in there, even just for the one day. That's going to be bonkers. It's going to be bonkers. I did consider, do I want to go to Chicago TARDIS for that? Because, we were looking at flights to Gallifrey 1, because with the Canadian-U.S. relationship, what it is right now. Yeah. People are much lesser. Not as many people are going to the U.S. anymore, so much so that airlines are canceling flights and everything. So, getting to L.A. in February is a bit of a crap show. Getting to Chicago is once again not as much fun.
I'm probably, unless there's an airline strike for Air Canada, taking off soon to Mexico City. And one of the main things, besides visiting a friend and going to Mexico City for the first time in a long, long time, is looking at just how empty that international terminal is. I'm very curious to see how empty it is. Because most of the time it wouldn't be.
Yeah. Do report back. But so anyway, details, ChicagoTARDIS.com, Christopher Eccleston, Saturday, Chicago TARDIS. Pretty cool. I love the way that he is, and maybe old age, and it's been 20 years for him too since he was in Doctor Who and left Doctor Who, somewhat infamously, that he's sort of been really welcomed back in. We'll talk a little bit more about him later on in this news list, but it's cool. If you're on the fence about going to Chicago TARDIS,
and you're American,
you
don't face a border,
this is your cue. Go, because Eccleston is great, and I imagine he will give a very thorough and honest and forthright interview about his time on Doctor Who and perhaps the state of Doctor Who. Who knows? But he's back in the fold now and doing Big Finish, and he seems to be greatly enjoying it. So So there you go. Last week, so Chris, you might have to fill us in on the timeline of this, because we mentioned about how Doctor Who, modern Doctor Who, 2005 to 2022, is no longer on HBO in the States. It's no longer in Canada on Prime. It's no longer anywhere except somebody piped up, oh wait, Stan, this fictitious streaming service called Stan in Australia, had modern Doctor Who. But now that's no longer the case. Is that right?
Yeah, you had made a post about the loss of Doctor Who from, I think it was HBO Max.
No, it was on Prime. It was on Prime because I could actually
Was it Prime?
Share a photo of it. Yeah, because we don't get HBO Max.
Yes, right. Yeah. Anyway, you made that post about Prime losing Doctor Who, and a few people chimed in saying, "Oh, thankfully in Australia, Stan still has it."
Yeah. Well, no.
And then basically a day later, or a couple days later, when we released the episode and talked about Stan having it, other people got back to us saying, well, as it turns out, Stan lost it as well. So,
wow.
And it sounds like July 31st is more or less the cutoff for them as well.
The way I look at this is there are two possibilities here. Either some entity is getting it and they're all being drawn from somewhere else because of that, or nobody's getting it. I don't know which it is.
At this point, nobody's getting it.
Yeah.
As Stephen was talking about last week, other than the iPlayer having it, it is basically nowhere. I mean, yeah, classic stuff for Pluto TV or this and that.
Presumably that's a different contract, right? Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
It's a different entity.
Yeah.
Oh, who was it? I saw somebody on Facebook last night talking about. I think it was Pluto TV. Pluto TV apparently gets their Doctor Who from BritBox.
Yes. Yeah. Those fast channels are BritBox fast channels.
It's essentially advertising for BritBox.
Yeah. Not from like BBC Studios directly or whatever. It's BritBoxes, because they were talking about some restored or missing episode or something not being on BritBox but is now on Pluto TV, and I can't remember what episode it was.
Oh wow.
But yeah, BritBox is the source for all that stuff, apparently, yeah, as you say.
It is, yeah. There's the Pluto TV, Tubi, and I think like even if you go like
Plex, it's on Plex.
Plex, is there a fast channel on Plex too? I think there is.
Yeah, there is.
Samsung Smart Plus TV is what it is. If you have a smart TV, and some of these smart TVs have their own little similarly stream. And the great thing is that they don't all play the same thing. So like you could literally switch between Doctor Who fast channels to see which one is playing what at a certain time.
It's like the good old days when 3 or 4 different channels had Simpsons reruns, so you could just spend a whole day flipping through Simpsons reruns.
Yeah.
And for these fast channels, they typically aren't running the same thing at the same time or in any particular order either.
No.
So, I mean, you could sit there and watch the Sunmakers, then, oh, okay, now it's the Gunfighters. Oh, now it's Web of Fear. Now
you could go on BritBox and do that too, just on your own. But
but this way, it's basically like the random feed given to you, which
totally
could be fun.
Yeah, and you can like there's the fast channels, but there also, for instance, is like I'm just literally checking out Tubi right now. And you could watch stuff on demand as well. All the stuff has ads, of course, but it is all derived from BritBox. Also, just want to point out, it's also derived by BritBox. The Sandbaggers is on Tubi, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So if you wanted to watch the Sandbaggers is made with commercial breaks because it wasn't BBC, and I bet you that the breaks aren't going to be where you want them to be.
Nope, I would bet you're correct on that.
I bet you're 100% correct. But
it's
all on there.
Wix. You should try Wix. Buy Wix. Bagger.
Yeah. Exactly.
For whatever it's worth, Galaxy 4 is apparently what is now on Pluto that BritBox isn't yet showing.
Oh, interesting. Wow. That is on Pluto, you say. Well, now that...
that's what it says.
Well,
that's what it says.
On Pluto, and I'm just trying to delay my best to see if it's on. It is on Tubi too. So there we go. Galaxy 4 is on Tubi, and it's not on BritBox. Oh, nice. That's what you're saying. Yeah,
that's what I'm told. Yeah.
Oh, well. The color animated version, by the way, is what is often represented when it comes to the animated recons. I
don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I don't. I think it's probably the most accessible introduction. I think for someone who's never seen a missing episode story. There's
also the consideration that it's widescreen as well, which most every TV people are watching this stuff on will be. Same with most any computer monitor is probably widescreen as well. Yeah. I suppose that kind of thing could be jarring. Like if you're sitting there and you're watching a handful of black and whites, then now it's an animated one, but it's only in color. I mean, I know there are purists out there, but I'm not one of them, thankfully.
No, me neither.
But I'm sure there are people who would complain that the black and white option's not there. Options are good, to be fair. Yeah,
for what it's worth, on Tubi and probably on Pluto as well, because it's the same source, they don't have Web of Fear at all. But they do have the animated Fury from the Deep. So there are two different versions of the Web of Fear with a telesnap reconstruction of episode 3 and then the animated version, the one-off animated version. Neither of those are represented on there. I don't think that modern Doctor Who will show up on Tubi. I feel like I don't know. I feel like there's more blood to be milked out of that particular stone from BBC Studios, but
certainly not the full like Eccleston to Whittaker period.
No, there are four really when you think about it. There are four distinct Doctor Who eras when it comes to rights, I think, and that's basically 63 to 89, the original BBC run, the TV movie, which falls in between so many things. Like I've never seen that on streaming anywhere.
No, it kind of floats off in no man's land.
It does.
Even the DVD is kind of tough to find.
It kind of is, yeah. And then there's the 2005 to 2022 Eccleston to Whittaker, and then the Disney Plus stuff. So there are basically four different Doctor Who entities out there right now.
And the Whittaker stuff is usually persona non grata too for some weird reason.
Well, it was on Prime. It wasn't on Prime here in Canada. It was only series 1 to 10, and I had to think that perhaps the rights were so new that Bell Media here still had the rights to them, but just didn't bother showing them because Bell. But now, of course, they're off anywhere. So you're right, Warren. Are they going to be nowhere, and you have to buy them, or are they going to be? Is there going to
except Universe, obviously?
Yeah, or is there going to be a big launch on BritBox maybe later in the fall? Which is
I did Google and saw some clearly wrong stuff saying, yes, BritBox has both old and modern. I'm like, all right, AI, how'd you slither into this one? Because that doesn't sound right to me.
Wrong. Yeah. And a lot of people say, well, this is why it's good to have the DVDs. And yes, it is. But it's also like, if you want to say, hey, you should check out the Peter Capaldi era, I cannot tell you where to look. We're reviewing 2 episodes of Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who on this very podcast in an hour and a half time when we get to the Miniscope. And we can't direct you anywhere to watch them. I hope you have them. Hope you bought them because you can't stream them anywhere. And that's not good.
No, I mean, thankfully there are a few digital purchase options. But,
sure, purchase is one thing, but listen, in this day and age where people just like, so many people, let's face it, we're lazy. We don't want to buy a thing. We'll just stream it on Spotify or Apple Music, or we'll just stream it on Netflix or whatever streaming service. And if it's not there, we'll find something else to throw on while we play our phone games in the background, So you have to be a fan of things to seek it out, which is good, but it's also
This isn't restricted to Doctor Who either. Like everybody's going through this.
Oh yeah, absolutely everyone. Absolutely.
One big obstacle when it comes to Doctor Who is just the sheer volume of it. Whether you're talking classic, New Who, the whole thing, Disney era, whatever. There's just so much of it that, I mean, if you want to buy it, number one, there's a lot of stuff that isn't yet on Blu-ray for classic Who. And the DVDs are so long out of print that you may never get a reasonable price on one.
That too.
And then for newer stuff, I mean, thankfully there's been multiple iterations, including that ginormous box set that Stephen, you and I ordered and
I never
actually got. We canceled our orders after almost a year of waiting for it.
Yeah.
But the new stuff is out there to be had on physical media if you're looking to buy it, but it's still so voluminous that it would be a very expensive proposition.
It is. I mean, the collection sets, obviously, which we are champions of here, and cover the release of every time they come out because they are superb. But let's face it, they are for people like us, people who've seen it a billion times and want a new way to experience. I mean, obviously, it's a great way for first-time viewers to watch as well. But, I realize that not everyone is going to be like me. Not everyone is going to buy the Criterion version of Solaris, having never seen the film, just to watch the film Solaris.
The George Clooney one, right?
The original Russian Soviet version from 1972, of course.
The Soviets, the good guy Russians.
The good guy Russians. Because, not everyone's like me. And I'm not going to say, well, you should just buy a DVD, so then everything would be solved. I know that is not going to be the case, and I am the outlier here. So, yeah, here's hoping that BritBox becomes a home for it, because it's the natural home for it, let's face it. And the fact that it's nowhere anywhere means that you can put it on BritBox and have that be the only home for it. Because sometimes it's like, it's on this streaming service in this country and this one here and that one there, but not all this. And, so it would be nice to have a one-stop location. And that might mean
fast channels, new Doctor Who stuff, which wouldn't be bad either.
I don't... I wonder.
The BBC could... I mean, it was an abject failure last time when they tried it 15 or whatever years ago, but they could try to do an international iPlayer again.
Mm-hmm. I think the appetite for having one's own streaming service, I think, is like gone.
Yeah. The lesson may have been learned in that one.
Yeah, like I'm literally just scrolling through Tubi's fast channels right now. I mean, I know there's a Midsummer Murders one. I know there's some other ones, like FilmRise is sort of has distribution rights for some of these sort of more modern shows. But is there a BBC, like there's a new Tricks one, that was a BBC show, but that's from 20 years ago. Like, I'm just trying to think of stuff like made in the similar era that modern Doctor Who is made in, and if the BBC has experimented in the fast channel for that. I think that they still see Doctor Who as being too much of a moneymaker, maybe, to sell off to just a fast channel. I'm wondering if they would use it to drive up subscription rates to like a BritBox or something like that. But we'll wait and see, I guess. But I think BritBox is probably the most natural destination for it. Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll launch it in November to tie in with the anniversary of Doctor Who. Who knows? Maybe it will show up. It's not going to Disney. Everyone can just stand down thinking, oh, well, this means it's all going to... No, it's not going to Disney. Disney is going to wash their hands of Doctor Who, and it will not be on there. BritBox or nothing, as you say, Warren.
I mean, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Whether or not it happens is another story entirely.
Yeah.
And then eventually, BritBox will buy Star Trek as well off of Paramount to get rid of it. If we're cogitating, I might as well come up with something else.
Hey, listen, BBC America has for years, for some reason, showed Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That always baffled me.
Yeah, I mean, technically, the BBC aired TNG back in the day too, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's
about the least British thing I can think of, other than Patrick Stewart. But
yeah. Other than the 4 different actors who appeared on TNG and Doctor Who,
I guess. But I mean, having said that, when I think TNG, I think America. That's an American show.
I know, me too. Starring its British captain. Anyway, anything else you want to say about that streaming stuff?
It's depressing until it isn't, or continues to be. Yeah, basically.
Chris, any final thoughts before you get on to?
No.
Okay.
No.
Moving on. Doctor Who: The Monster Makers, which is a compilation basically of a bunch of 15th Doctor comics from Doctor Who magazine, is coming out as a compendium from Panini Comics on August 19th. It is available for pre-order. You can get it. You can order it now. It's separate, of course, to your Doctor Who magazine subscription. But if you have all the Doctor Who magazines, and you've probably already read all of these things, but,
Apparently, there's a Panini store exclusive cover limited to 350 copies.
Wow.
So if you want that'll be in limited supply.
Yeah. Speaking of limited supply, as in nothing, Riverside Studios. These are cool little events. Riverside Studios have been putting on little special events, sometimes with Gav Rymel and like James Goss and people like that, talking about like showing a story, a Doctor Who story, and then talking about it. This time they pushed the boat out. It's Doctor Who: Resurrections of the Daleks.
Hell yeah!
From 1984. This is going to happen on September 14th. I said, was it still going to happen? But the confirmed special guests are, get this, Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, Mark Strickson, Terry Malloy, Rula Lenska, who's very famous.
Yeah.
And Matthew Robinson, the director. I haven't seen Matthew Robinson on like any of these for a long time. It's sold out. It's gone. I hope you got your tickets, because we put this on the list like 2 days ago, and it was sold out within minutes.
Man, it takes a lot of crap, but I love Resurrection of the Daleks.
I do too. Yeah.
There was just one for Keeper of Traken as well, I think.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So I hope you got tickets to that, because that would be quite an event. You know, it's around the same time as like when did we say the BFI for season 13 was happening? Like sometime around that same weekend.
Oh, I can't remember.
Like it's in mid-September.
I think it's later, but I could be wrong about that.
20th, something like that.
Yeah, it's the 20th.
Saturday the 20th,
right.
I think.
Yeah. That sounds about right. So, like within 6 days, you could watch 2 special screenings in Doc. Look at you people in the UK. You with your iPlayers with all your Doctor Who on it, and you with your special of. All right, you happy now? You got your Doctor Who back. You and only you have Doctor Who now. Hope you're happy, England.
They probably are. They're probably quite pleased. Yeah.
Actually, probably are too. Yeah.
Who can blame them?
Yeah, this thing apparently sold out in minutes, and I did see a few friends on Facebook clamoring for tickets and saying the website was bogged down with all the demand. So
wow.
So yeah,
pretty cool.
That would be such a great day,
wouldn't it? Though. Dang.
Why is it we have created AI that lies almost perfectly, and yet we cannot create a website that doesn't get bogged down?
That's a whole other thing.
Probably, yes. I'm just complaining. Just random complaints.
Random complaints. I'm not complaining about this. We knew this was coming because we heard about it, but now the official details have come out. Blake 7, Season 2, or Series 2, or Season B, or Series B, depending on what you want to call it. Coming to Blu-ray November 10th in the UK. No sign of a outside of the UK release date yet. But it features tons of great stuff. Of course, made by most of the same team that makes the Doctor Who one, so you know it's good. Special features include In Conversation, Matthew Sweet talks with Brian Croucher, who of course is Travis in season 2, and designer Roger Murray Leach. A big giant, like 100-minute documentary on series 2 made by Chris Chapman, who as I learned when he was on this show talking about the first season box set, he's never seen Blake 7. He's watching these series and then making documentaries on them as they happen, essentially, which is a fascinating insight into that, like basically a new eyes watching this thing for the first time.
He's also a professional producer, so I'm sure he can manage if he hasn't seen the source material. But no doubt it makes it more enjoyable if you have.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm kind of doing the same thing. Like I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I don't think I've seen the 3rd or 4th season. So I'm just watching I broke out the box set again and just go through that before this comes out.
Yeah,
for the first season. Also, one of the things I love about this trailer is where they get, I can't remember her name, Servalan, Jacqueline Pierce.
Yeah.
And the first thing she says is, can I tell you about a guy who invited me over after his mom goes to sleep so I could beat him up? That pretty much sums up that character and what her rep amongst fans.
Yeah. But she couldn't go over until after 10 p.m.
Yeah, because his mom was asleep then. So you can beat me up just enough that my mom stays asleep. I'm like, that's very specific.
As you're aware, having seen the trailer, Warren, there's a long piece on Jacqueline Pierce where that is from. So
yeah. Titan. She was a Titan.
She was. Jacqueline Pierce tribute doc. David Jackson, of course, played Gan in this season. Some rare convention footage. Oh yeah, I love some old stuff. New audio commentaries. With Toby Haydock moderates all those rare visual effects footage.
John Leeson better be on Gambit. There's like nobody. There's like nobody from that. Like Deep Roy's dead. Aubrey.
No,
Woods
he's not dead. Deep Roy's.
Deep Roy's still dead.
Deep Roy's dead.
Okay, well, I hope Deep Roy's on there too. I thought
Deep Roy plays a clute. Yeah.
So Deep Roy and John Leeson better be on there, because like Aubrey Woods, who plays the main guy, is dead.
Dead. Sylvia Coolidge, who played Speed Chess, long since passed on. Gareth Thomas, of course, sadly died several years ago. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as the the main cast goes, Michael Keating, is he still around?
Yeah, I don't think he's been too well in recent years though, so he hasn't really been on a lot of these things.
So it's just Sally Nivette and
Jan Chapel.
I mean, they're very entertaining in the documentary from last time.
They are, yeah. So I'm not sure who's on the commentaries. I don't think that info was put out there, but all good stuff.
What is on this box set? Gambit. That's what.
Gambit's on this box set. Updated visual effects too. I
turned on for my view on season 1. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to check out the new effects. Why the hell not?
You know what? Because I mean, some of them are CG, but some of them are actual models and stuff. Mm-hmm. And
that's what I love about this, and sort of like the little how do I put it? The sort of interstitial stuff they used to do and they don't anymore for the DVD releases, where it didn't look good enough to be like Hollywood type stuff, but it looked better than the original. And that's kind of the sweet spot Doctor Who should be in my opinion. It should look kind of janky. Yeah. That's part of the charm.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, as we say, there's a pre-order link in the UK. Nothing yet here in North America, either be at Amazon or the slowly regenerating BBC shop, which is still, I think, displaying the same Doctor Who stuff that they did on launch with Comic-Con. So hopefully
it's in that stage where the face looks different, which is always an excuse to get different actors in.
That's true, yeah.
Apparently Michael Keating was born in Edmonton, London. Edmonton, Alberta, where two of us are recording from, is named after Edmonton, London.
That's true. That is true.
That's cute.
Isn't it, though? Isn't it? Anyway, looks like great stuff. Cannot wait for this. It came out, the season 1 came out fairly short order. It came out in December of last year, 2 years ago. When did Blake 7 come out? Was it last year? I don't even remember anymore. The years are starting to... Yeah. Was it last year?
Was it season 1 set? Yeah, last year.
Wow, that's great. Well, there we go. Hopefully they'll repeat that, and Blake 7 will come out in fairly short order, because... it's great. I can't wait.
Sounds like they might be doing one a year toward the end of the year.
Kind of looks it. I am looking forward. Not saying why. I'm looking forward to the last couple as well. Just there's your hint right there. But
I mean,
all these sets are looking great, but especially season 2, which comes out next, looks pretty cool. So
I'm waiting for season 3 to come out, because I got to look up the character's name. Dana. Warren has
Josette Simon. Josette Simon. Yeah, she's great. She wants nothing to do with Blake 7, just so you know.
Really?
Yeah, nothing to do with it anymore. She put it past her, so there you go. That's why Yasmin Bannerman, who was, of course, on our live show, played Jade the tree in End of the World as voices Dana in the Big Finish audio. So
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Josette Simon is still with us, thankfully.
Yeah, she is, but nothing. She wants nothing to do with Blake 7.
Well, some people do. Some people just, it's a gig and that's it.
Maybe she'll, as the tabloids always say, break her silence on Blake 7 in the season 3 set. That's not.
Actor would like to return to show. Yeah, I'm sure he would.
Matthew Sweet interviewing Josette Simon about being the first time she talks about it in 40 years. That would be quite a thing. No pressure, Matthew Sweet. But I
see Stephen Pacey, who's in 3 and 4 as well, is still with us. So I assume he'll be all over those sets when they're done.
Yep. This is Chris discovers who is still living from the Blake 7.
Yeah.
Glynis Barber still with us.
Any 1970s show, that's entirely possible that they are with us. It's entirely possible they are not.
That's true.
If you're a fan of Babylon 5, it's entirely possible that they're not with us.
That's a 90s show.
Has had a very, very sad survival rate.
I mean, I know most of the initial cast is dead. Peter Tuddenham's dead.
Yeah. It's good to keep up on who's dead or not. That's a new segment on this the show. Yeah. Once again,
dead or not,
we are in for a 2-hour episode, kids, of this episode of Radio Free Skaro, because we got an hour-long miniscope, and we are going on which person's dead or not. Happy days. Happy days.
The rest of the news list is pretty quick, I dare say. So I don't think we're going to hit an hour unless you
let's get to it then.
On.
Yeah, the first
to quote Chris Cuomo,
the first Ninth Doctor Rose story, which I haven't. I'm not the biggest audio book listener because I edit podcasts for a living, and I like to give my ears a break. But I did purchase and download the first Ninth Doctor Rose story, Snare, which came out this past week, because it's pretty notable hearing that team again back together. They Big Finish put together a lovely little segment with them, interviews with Eccleston and Piper and Matt Fitton and a couple others and stuff. just telling about, the recording of it. I was more fascinated by like seeing the shots of them recording it. They were both in the same room. With shotgun mics mic'd on either side of them, basically like pointed the other direction. So they were like in the same room and looking at each other the whole time. And I like that. There's a sort of a natural connection between actors when they're allowed to record in the same room. And in the times that I've,
it comes through too in the audio.
I think it does. Not to say that it's when they do it in like everyone's in their own little sound booth, it's different. But I almost wonder, like, was this a thing Eccleston wanted to do? Because I know how kind of hands-on kind of actor he is. Like Nicholas Briggs, I remember when he said, like, he pulled him aside and says, "Can we run lines together? Can we rehearse our scenes together?" Like, I'm just the voice of the Dalek. You want to do this? Yeah, I do. He was that kind of like committed actor, wanting to get the most out of the scene. So I wonder if that was actually a thing that he wanted to do. But it was kind of cool. So there's that. And then with the reveal of that, they announced the next one due out in the ring is October 20 in 2025, The Last Days of the Powell Estate, which of course feels Camille Kaduri because she is Jack. She's in this one too, but she'll be in the next one as well. So yeah, glad for Eccleston. I'm glad for him. I'm glad that he's back in the Doctor Who world. It's better with him,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of buying, I forgot that I had bought the Vampire Weekend 13th and Yaz story. Yeah. So I just I was on the Big Finish app for some reason. I was like, I wonder if I have purchased anything. I pulled it down and all of a sudden Vampire Weekend shows up. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I bought this 6 months ago. Hooray! I got an hour to listen to.
The pre-order. Yay! Yeah, there you go. Your Mexico flight. There you go, Warren. There's your...
Done.
Yeah.
This last Days of the Powell Estate release, written by somebody called Timothy X Attack.
Attack.
It's a good name.
Attack. Yeah,
awesome. Attack.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome name either way.
Yeah, we've talked about his name, X Attack. I just like that guy's made up. Come on, can't be a real name.
Yeah, but it's a good made up name. Come on,
it's too awesome of a name to be real.
Well, Cary Grant's a made up name. It's still great.
That's true.
That's true.
To quote Thor, all names are made up, or misquote Thor.
Yeah. Thor, another name made up.
There you go.
By Marvel. That was not a thing before, right?
Yes, and never anyone before.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Also, they're
also 10 pounds a piece. Those two releases.
That's nothing.
That's nice and cheap.
Yeah,
I mean, for the digital version only, of course.
Yeah, but, I paid $18 Canadian for the digital.
I think that's
version.
what I paid for Vampire Weekend too. Something like that.
That's not bad at all.
People make this stuff. People may have a living making this stuff, and I like rewarding them. So,
and it's the only new Doctor Who we got right now. So
that is also they are the torch holder right now. Big Finish, baby. Big Finish is now, once again, as they were doing in 1999, is basically like holding the torch for Doctor Who until...
This has all happened before, and this has all happened again, to quote BSG.
Yeah. Yeah, so say all of us, Warren. Huh?
There you go. Nice. They're meeting me halfway.
That's what he says, right?
That's what I call détente, baby.
So say all of us. Famous by Captain Omada. What is the name? I don't remember his name.
Omada. What the hell is an Omada? Never mind. Don't answer
he's
that.
the lead guy. He's what's his name? He's Jimmy Smits on Babylon Space 5,
enough.
right? Isn't that what it is? I don't remember these shows anymore. Anyway, Doctor Who the War Master, His Greatest Trick is a 4-part series. It's coming October 2025. One of those is written by Adam Christopher, his first entry into the Big Finish world. He's also got a Doctor Who audio novel, which is out now. Doctor Who, What Still Remains, written by Adam Christopher, is read by Sophie Aldred.
I am looking over at his Shadows of the Sith book, which is all about, it actually explains why the hell Rey's dad and mum are related to Palpatine. I haven't gotten that far yet, but it apparently makes sense, glues together a lot of disparate nonsense between Last Jedi and the third one I don't care about. So
wow.
And it's got Luke Skywalker and Lando. So I mean, Lando, it makes anything better, including the third one I don't care about.
That's true.
One of the other ones in the set is from Ian Winterton, who works with Cutaway Comics.
Right. Cool.
Which I apparently can't even say. So
no, which has done like those Lytton comics and a bunch of other stuff over the years. Yeah,
the Paradise Tower stuff,
the
J&T play,
Stephen Wyatt. Cool, very cool. Lots of different audio stuff out there right now, including the soundtrack. Indoctornated is, of course, a Doctor Who documentary by Ross Rediger and Chris Hansen that had its premiere, I want to say, at Chicago TARDIS this past, and also Gallifrey 1. Anyway, the soundtrack is done by, of course, the wonderful Dominic Glynn, and his soundtrack album is coming out August 18th. It'll be available from Indoctornated.com.
I keep mixing it and Who Am I up just in my head. I don't know why.
Yes.
Similar stories, I guess.
Maybe. One of them's I don't know. I haven't seen
One man's
Indoctornated.
Journey in Fandom, and this is more of a general Journey in Fandom. I think.
Yes. I'm in one of them. I know that. I don't think I'm in the
we all know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in that one too. Got them all over the place. Jeez. Sorry. Anyway, that soundtrack's coming out August 18th. What else is happening? Oh, also, that's it. Oh, my God, we finished it, apart from one last thing. Our good friend Graham Burke, who, of course, has been on this podcast many times, of course, on the Reality Bomb over the years. He's got a new podcast that we talked about last week that's launching a Kickstarter. It's now launched for the Comics Code, the history of comics and popular culture. It's a few days in. He's almost at 50% of his goal already. So do kick in and support that if that is up your alley. 37 days to go, plenty of time. But pledge now. I did. I pledged, and I didn't want to, because I'm not a comics fan, as I said last week, but I'm a fan of hearing how things are made, and that's why this is of interest to me.
I completely agree.
So there are tiers where you can get like comics and stuff like this. I don't need the comics. I'm just here. I'm here to listen to the history, man. So I pledged just $50 to say there.
And this is my chance to say I'm in this.
I'm
in
this,
by the way. Yep.
That's right. So, You're a voice. You play.
I am a voice. I'm not saying who, but I am a certain comic creator. I'm playing a certain comic creator.
You are Stan Lee.
Nope.
You're the other guy. I know who you are.
I lack the bombast to be Stan Lee.
That's true. You do a little bit. Yeah. I think I have an idea, an inkling of, maybe because you told me, but I think...
I'll just tell you off air.
Tell me off air in 45 seconds from now when we wrap this thing up. Which we'll do right now, because that is the end of our news. Because now it is time for the second part of our Miniscope on Doctor Who director Jamie Magnus Stone, who we're going to talk about in the Miniscope.
Could be a theme park for the future. Or we might be inside a miniscope.
Oh, shut up.
A miniscope, yes, of course, why not?
It's time for the Miniscope again, kids. Part 2 of our epic 4-part Jamie Magnus Stone Miniscope. Magnuscope. You could almost call it a Magnuscope. There's 8 episodes total involved in this over the course of just over 2 years. A hell of a prolific. This might be our most largest, tightest, self-contained Miniscope we've ever done. Like I can't think of any director who's done 8 episodes within 2 years, basically, because that's what this is, right? 20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 22. Yeah.
Yeah, because guys like Christopher Barry and such were spread over 15 years practically. So
Graham Harper broke the record on that about being separated by years. But yeah.
Well, no, it's because Barry started directing during Hartnell, and he was still directing in Tom Baker's years.
I know, Creature from the Pit, but I'm saying Graham Harper was director in 1984 and then was directing still in 2007. So
that's true, yeah.
With obviously about 20 years in between. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Graham Harper. We're here to talk about Jamie Magnus Stone. The episodes that we'll be watching today, the two-part finale of Series 13, the last episodes to air before most of the Western world went into lockdown. Literally days after it went out.
Did it cause it? Did it cause COVID-19?
No, it didn't. I say that only to squash any conspiracy theories.
That's fair.
Anyway, but yeah, February 23rd and I guess March 1st, March 2nd or when it was then, yeah. Heady days, everyone. I forgot about that literally until right now. Oh, right. We were hoarding toilet paper a week after this aired.
That whole time is weirdly compressed and yet eternal at the same time. I can't explain it.
Yeah, it's very odd. Well, they never made it in that. Listen, we'll get to that. We'll get to making Doctor Who during a COVID-19 pandemic in the next installment of the Miniscope. But Ascension of the Cybermen and, of course, The Timeless Children. Probably more controversial amongst fandom for the writing elements. I dare say, and
Possibly,
less so for the directorial ones. So we'll see how closely we hew towards the director nature of this. I know sometimes we veer into the more abstract stuff outside of the director's control, but Ascension of the Cybermen, with the cold open of about 30 seconds long, which is a voiceover and a cyber head coming to the camera, and the title sequence comes out of the Cybermen's. I loved it then. I love it now.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep. Love it. Love the start. Great start. Great start. Listen, can I just say it? Were we harsh on this era at the time? How did we feel? It's this.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Like, I think I was baffled by the Timeless Children more than I was like, for or against it. And right now I'm just like, all right, it's something to add to the pile, whatever. It is what it is.
If memory serves, we were more upbeat on it than most.
I think so. I think we were.
But I don't think we were necessarily utterly reverential over it either. Yeah.
And yeah, like I feel like this miniscope that we're doing, it's basically because he's done Jamie Magnus Stone has done so many episodes over a short amount of time. This almost feels like we're focusing on his director's work, but also it's kind of a low key reappraisal of the Jodie Whittaker era as well, and all that it entails, not just the writing and the performances, but like just the look of it, because we're looking at this from from a sort of a director eye for the sake of this podcast. I thoroughly miss this era visually.
Yeah, the look is clearly superior. Just into like, I guess the Disney thing is more conventional. Like it's certainly expensive, but it's more conventional looking than this is.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I feel like an idiot for not knowing this, but I don't think they use anamorphic lenses anymore after, like in the Disney era. Like I don't see the hallmarks. Maybe here they do to great effect, and like there's a slightly like duller sheen to it. Like maybe it's because like we're Ascension and Timeless, like all the human scenes are all like take place. Well, the whole story, let's face it, take place in either a bombed out human settlement, or a bombed out human spaceship, or a bombed out cyber spaceship, or a bombed out Gallifrey.
Except for the Irish stuff, which does have a very distinct look to it.
Which looks absolutely super. Like it looks like so
Am I right?
quaint.
Is Irish or is he? I'm not
Irish.
getting it. Okay, good.
And it's all shot in Wales.
It's all shot in Wales.
This one does.
But you put a nice little filter on there, and it looks just great. And it's like, look at that! I'm in Ireland. Oh boy.
Well, I do like the blown out sky shots. That really adds to the pastoral atmosphere, which is one of my notes.
Yeah. I love that we go from the Cybermen to bang into this weird thing. And usually in Doctor Who, there would be some subtitle, Ireland 1936 or something like that. It's for story reasons, there is no subtitle to tell that. But I remember at the time thinking, this is great. I love not knowing anything about what's going on here in these Ireland scenes. It just goes to that, and then all of a sudden it cuts to the Doctor and trying to fight Cybermen. But
and I had to remember that she had just come out of Village Dia, Dodie saying, sometimes I'm at the summit, and she was being not needlessly harsh, but unusually harsh to the fam at that point.
A little bit,
just because it was carrying over from the last episode.
Yeah, it's almost a bit of a three-parter, if you will, from Haunting into these two.
Kind of 2.5-parter, but yeah,
a little bit. Yeah, certainly. Is it what you would do in an ongoing TV series? When you think about it, it's just I don't know. I know we were, I know we kind of dumped on the Disney Who era, and maybe we'll see that in a new light, possibly 5 years time too, when we do like I don't know, Alex Pillai's Miniscope or something like that. But
or Pete McTighe.
Or Pete McTighe's Miniscope.
Once we've entered the Tubi era of Doctor Who.
That's true. When we're doing the CBB's reviews from week to week in 2027.
These are for children. Yes, they are. Shut up.
It's just like the whole feel of not only how the show looks, but also like like there's one tiny flashback in the Timeless Children to something that happened earlier, but like there's so many other stuff that actually refers to past events from.
Well, there is a montage in the Timeless Children,
That's
which
true.
actually I rolled more about because of the montages we keep getting now.
Yeah, but like otherwise, like, you know, I just feel like there would have been an edit in there, like when, oh, I remember this, and there'd be a cut to something. There'd be a, you know, let's cut this. There's nowhere. There's a screen playing out with like all the different Doctor scenes on them. There's no, you know, there's none of these little, like when they mention stuff, it doesn't feel as obvious when they're doing the memories or references. Like
they're not watching Pyramids of Mars on an iPad.
watching Pyramids of Mars on an iPad.
We're not also poised to jump on said member berries either. Like we were, you know, a few years ago, we wouldn't be quite as harsh about that, I think.
Yeah, we got force-fed him in the last couple of years.
Just to be fair to the current era.
Well, we got force-fed him in the last couple of years, so to the point where, like, come on, let's, you know, I remember when we sort of like, oh, wow, that was the thing. Like, in the big montage in Timeless Children, we saw, like, you know, because I went frame by frame at the time, and I thought those are indeed the Morbius Doctors in there, baby.
Yeah, which was just nice of them to sneak in.
Yeah.
I mean, just going back even further to the bit at the beginning of Name of the Doctor, where they run through the previous Doctor's eras, and it's Clara, and I'm like, I got a little emotional seeing that. I don't think that would happen now, you know, because just we had enough of it.
Because they did it. They did it again.
Well, that too. Yeah.
in Empire of Death or whatever. No, the Reality War. They did it again. They go, look, we did it again. Oh, it doesn't mean as much anymore, you know.
Think of how many new viewers came to the show with the Disney Plus era, though, and
that's fair.
And they don't know much about the history, and this may, you know, stuff like that might whet their appetites,
or they just don't care. One or the other, like,
or they just don't care,
which is also legit.
Yeah. But you know, I miss D-Neg. I miss their work. They're the visual effects company that only worked on the Chibnall era. It just, because of that, in retrospect now, it just gives this whole era a new look to it. Like the subtle effect of the ringed planet in the background. It just sits in the background there. Like it doesn't feel like we're paying any attention to it. It's just like out of focus in the background, which is how it would be in, you know, if a real ringed planet was in orbit somewhere. And then the scene that I just loved was when the cyber ship comes into land, and it's just like sort of like a rough feels like something out of District 9 or something like that, like just something rough and ready, and it's just like...
Is that a shot where there's two ships coming in? Or no, you're talking about a different one. But there's a shot where the two cyber ships are coming at the villagers, and then as they descend down, the one guy's running towards the camera, which I thought was a really cool shot.
It's a different... Well, yeah, it's the very first one where they say, oh, Cybermen are landing, and then after a little bit longer, then we get the silly cyberheads come out, which are kind of silly, but the sequence itself is done. Oh, but what's your note, Warren?
They are silly as hell. They're funny and goofy as hell. Like, I did laugh when I saw them because they're so stupid. But having said that, the way they shoot all the attacking by the cyberheads, which it gets taken away from because they have this really cool Saving Private Ryan type, you know, shaky cam and running around and lots of quick cuts to people's faces, and it's all done very well in that style. And then a stupid cyberhead flies by, like, oh yeah, this is about cyberheads. But the way, other than that, the whole way they're executing it all is very well done.
Yeah. I thought so too. Yeah, and then I laugh over at Cyberheads. That's right, because that's everyone's going to focus on. I remember at the time thinking, "Oh God, people are going to hate this," because you know, let's face it, people were kind of hating on Jodie Whittaker's era at the time, and they just were looking at stuff, kind of like we were looking at stuff for the show.
I didn't hate it. It's dumb, but I found it kind of funny, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
Think of the what were they called from the Next Doctor? The dog Cybermen things.
Cyber Shades.
Those are dumber.
Those were dumber.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, did we miss a shot where we denied a shot of a bunch of headless Cybermen sort of accepting their drones back on, just sort of having the heads land back on their bodies, and then
would that be better or worse? I'm going with worse.
Yeah, probably.
I always thought that they were just their own thing, that they're not actually a detachable part of a
they were just drones,
a larger gestalt thing.
Mm-hmm. I feel like probably somewhere somebody thought we might do that, but they didn't, thankfully. But
them shooting lasers out of their eyes, that's for whatever reason the part that annoys me the most, because Cybermen don't do that.
Their necks.
Yeah, it should come out of the little thing on the top of their head, if anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
So. This robot head is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the one with the sock head.
Yeah, but other than that, though, I mean, I thought it was well shot. Like just all of that, that whole scene, that whole setup over the first few minutes of that episode, and then Ashad comes walking out, and the fire is sort of flickering in the foreground, and just like,
and he's out of focus, and there's heat.
That's a great shot. I mean, like this just looks like an entirely different television show, and it was made like 5 years ago. You know, to what Doctor Who is today, basically, is what I mean.
One positive thing I'll say about the cyber drones, the heads, whatever, is all the POV shots that they use for them. Those look really
those are
good.
great.
Yeah,
those
are
great. I agree.
Really cool.
And then you see them, and you're like,
that's the saving grace to that element.
Probably done with actual drones. Let's face it. You know, probably actually literally flying actual drones and then putting.
Oh god, yeah. There's lots of scenes.
And then just copying these guys over top of them.
Yeah.
One thing I love about Ashad is that. Besides him just being a badass, is that they really pick and choose the shots where you see just the cyber side of his face or just the human side of his face, and it's all kind of keyed into the story. And I thought they really worked well doing that.
Well, I had a note about that from time as children. I'm like, if you're gonna have a half and half setup like that, why not use it?
Yeah, and they do, and they really do.
And they do.
Also, I said in my notes, the half torn off cyberface is brilliant, and I can't believe they've never done it before this. The only thing I can think of that comes close is Lytton with like cyber bits on him in Attack of the Cybermen, which is a good scene in a not a great show.
Right.
Or Craig in the Stormageddon closing time.
Or indeed Danny.
I guess.
But but like, you know, the half, I mean, it's just him with a mask off, essentially, you know.
It's better than Cyberbrig.
That's true.
Yeah, well, yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
It's shot in many ways just kind of the cyber version of Davros, in that, you know, there's a human we can see, or a humanoid at any rate, with, you know,
Stengos.
Or with cyber, or, you know, Dalek or cyber in this case, entrapments. Patrick O'Kane, by the way, former RFS live show guest that one year, the most soft-spoken, mild-mannered person you would ever meet.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had him on stage there for about 12 minutes. Like, this guy is entirely different to what I was expecting.
Well, that's like
he's an actor, you know.
I can't remember the name of the dog creature, but that guy,
Craig
you take
Ellis,
the dog mask off, and you're like,
Yeah.
how is this guy so damn handsome? This is ridiculous.
You know, like I just remember Patrick O'Kane was just like, he is like, what an amazing actor for him to go like this, be basically his normal self, so to speak, on stage, and to give that thoroughly dark performance.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's great.
It's almost like he's a professional or something.
It is, right? But like even just the approach to, like, there just feels like there's a darker, more like it felt like a war movie. It felt like a proper war movie in those first few minutes. You know, which I don't think, as I said last time, you know, I'm doing my best not to compare it to what the era that we just went through with the Disney Plus stuff. But it just feels night and day. It just feels night and day the way they shoot it and the way
Moffat
they approach
never
it.
felt like that either. So
no, that's true. That's true. Actually, yeah. It just feels, you know, in retrospect, God, they really were trying something different. And at the time, I felt more like the whole Whittaker era was like, we're, you know, just trying to keep the thing going, but also moving it to Sunday nights and having it like. But now we look at it and going, they were trying to basically stretch the legs of this show. And maybe it didn't hit with the public that much. And maybe when you sort of got review blindness going on, when you're just looking at an episode at a weekend, doing a podcast as we are, and you just sort of like, okay, let's watch it, review it, because we're reviewing it like 3 hours after we watch it for the first time, you know? Yeah. And now sitting back after so many years.
Especially that era.
Right?
Because
we didn't have much time for Sundays, I
know, Sunday nights, so...
and again, nothing to do with Jamie Magnus Stone, but I said it last time, I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to say it this time. I miss Second Akinola.
Oh, there's some stuff at the end where they're really ramping up to the climax. The percussion is oppressive and it's really good.
Yeah.
I can't remember what scene it was, but there's one bit with some lots of strings that was also really, really good. I just wish I remembered where it was.
I don't want to jump ahead to literally the very end, but since you mentioned Akinola, he plays a part in it, and it's the confrontation. Like after the Doctor has it out with his companions and the fam in the TARDIS, saying, "I got to go blow him up," and they say their goodbyes, and they play it out, and it's played out like it's going to be. This is it. Like this feels like, she's actually going to regenerate instead or something like that. Maybe not at all. And then she walks out of the TARDIS and you would expect a big dun, 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 dun. Here comes the big, bold, heroic theme. And it's like one piano note and a couple little things. And like Jodie Whittaker's like just walking out like quietly, slow motion, silence. That whole scene plays out where they're all like sort of like talking like low register and whispers and stuff like this between her and the Master when they've got his cyber army around there. And like only at the end does it sort of build up when she finally pulls out the cyber bombs thing that she's got going, and the Master sort of like it has some place to go at that point because they've underplayed it so well. And that's an acting thing, but it's also a directing thing. Let's really underplay this. Let's have this brought right down to a whisper level. That's how you control and make a climactic scene tense like that, so you have somewhere to go, as opposed to just be like, wow, like, giant CG creature coming out of a
Akinola does that with the regeneration scene, not to jump ahead to the next Miniscope, but in The Power of the Doctor, he does like some I wouldn't say subtle, but like sort of leading up to music before the big, huge regeneration.
Yes.
As opposed to, just so I can slag off where it's just like Murray Gold just ramps it up and it keeps ramping up all the way through to the point where I'm like, is he regenerating or is this a concert? What's going on here?
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, Stephen, you talked about experimentation and trying new things and whatnot. And Akinola is the first and so far only composer that isn't Murray Gold.
That's true.
It's since 2005. Yeah.
So that was, in a way, that was a hell of a risk because, like Gold's music or not, he's pretty consistent and he is pretty darn good. There's a reason. There's a reason he's done as much as he has.
I mean, some of the previous Akinola stuff is phenomenal. Like, there's no getting around that.
It is. I think that Akinola's music, it fills a lot of the episode, but you don't notice it as much because it just sort of fills in the atmosphere more than anything. And I think Akinola was better at filling in atmosphere than Murray Gold. I think Murray Gold saw a scene that needed music and composed a thing of music, whereas, Akinola says, let's just try a couple chords here and just see what happens. It'll just sort of like go into some sort of oral soundscape to set the mood, and that's kind of what it does. And it fits the visuals really well, I thought. Like, it would be interesting to see Segan Akinola's music. I should do this one day, like basically strip the music off an RTD episode and put Jodie Whittaker's music. I think somebody did that, actually, now that I think about it. The Jodie Whittaker scene in Reality War.
And it really works, actually.
Somebody put Segan Akinola's Jodie Whittaker music underneath, and I was like, this is an entirely different scene. And it just works so great. So... yeah.
Now he just needs to release an album called Music for TARDISes.
That's yes, please. That would be great. I'll take that. Not that this is turning into a Segan Akinola miniscope in many ways.
Yes, it is.
A little bit, just because he's part of this era too, and he's a huge part of it, I think. Another thing that I like about it, just so I can put it to bed, I love that there's no cliffhanger sting into the opening titles. It never fit. It's. I felt like it's never ever fit because the ear goes into the wow, like the actual melody part. But when you do it and it just goes into the intro of the song with the bass line, I always felt like it was just tacked on. And I love it when it's not here. It's not in the Segan Akinola version. It is at the end when it cuts into the closing credits. But I just thought it removes that bit of like tacked on nature to it. And like especially when the Cyberhead comes through and like the last word happens and then vroom, boom, boom, vroom, boom, and then the bass drops in and it's just like, it was good. So there we go. Segan Akinola. Great stuff. Also RFS live show guest.
Yes, that's true.
Same episode as Patrick O'Kane. Yep.
Was it the same one? It was, God, they all
Same
blend
live
together.
show.
They all blend together, I have to tell you. But
892 was it?
892?
892, Get Back.
892. Oh, the Get Back one. That's right. 2023.
I got to call it one shot that may be more VFX than anything else, but it's also, I'm sure Magnus Stone had some, approval in there.
Well, Doctor Who, Doctor Who isn't the show where we shoot all the effect sequences first and then bring the director on to do the rest of it. So he's got definitely input. Anyway, sorry, Chris.
But there's a great, when all the Cybermen come out, where they kind of do a tracking shot all the way back with all the doors, not simultaneously, but one after the other, really rapidly in succession, opening up, and then the Cybermen walking out of them. That whole sequence is great, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, in a long line of Cybermen emerge from things that we've had.
But that's going all out. It's a really good one. So
yep. You could do a whole montage. Cybermen emerge from things. How many episodes have they done it now? Like 8? I think you have to do it. You got to do it. Like, they're going to come out from something, right? They got to burst out of a wall or something like that, which is what they do. Anyway. It was good stuff. That was from Thomas Children, of course, that we're talking about. Was it the second one?
That's the end of this one.
It was Ascension. Yeah. That's right. Okay, yeah.
For some reason
they do blur. They
do.
Yeah, that's true. For some reason, I couldn't remember Ko Sharmus's name, so I wrote him down at first, just for my own amusement, as Baz Calkite, because that sounds like a good name for him.
Baz Calkite.
Calkite's just a direct stop to you in Andor. Calkite, unprocessed Calkite.
Oh, that's where that was. Okay, Baz Calkite.
Oh man, just to take a very, 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 very small amount of time and bitch about the writing for just a smidgen.
Here we are.
Go for it.
Chris Chibnall cannot come up with character names to save his life,
or
planet names for that.
I mean, other than Baz Calkite, which I think is a definite winner, but
that's true. Yeah, there's I'm trying to think like a shot. Like I know
Feecat, Bescott, Fuskel.
Yeah, those are pretty crappy names.
Even Ko Sharmus. Ko Sharmus has a bit of a thing to it. But like Ranskorav Kolos.
That's not great.
Yeah.
You know?
But the thing about Ko Sharmus, or Baz Calkite as I'm calling him from now on, is that he comes off, you think he's going to be Gandalf, and then he's just kind of a mate. Except he's in this cloak.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know what that's supposed to tell me, but I'm not even sure.
He's dressed like Gandalf, but he's really just old Gimli. You know.
Exactly. He's just a guy, you know. To quote
old military guy. Yeah,
just an old.
Old Gimli
guy.
Works for that.
Yeah.
Nothing against the performance. This guy is good. He's quite endearing as this guy. But
he was in several seasons of the Game of Thrones, which is where I know the actor from. Ian.
I know
Ian
from McElhinney. Yeah, I know from Dairy Girls.
Oh, he's in Dairy Girls. Okay.
He played the grandfather. Yep.
With Doctor Who's Nicola Coughlan, who's in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one.
There we go. I've written some notes. I'm just trying to know. I think I'm about halfway through the notes that I've written for the first episode. But they're mostly like I think we're up to now basically the confrontation between the Doctor and Hologram Ashad, which was played out in like really tight close-ups the whole way. Even the hologram is played out tight close-ups, which I thought was really well done. Because Patrick O'Kane has just such a great face, even when half of it's concealed behind the cyber mask, and like that along with everything else, it just feels like genuine danger going on. Like I felt serious danger for when Ryan gets split off from the rest of the fam when they're running the spaceship, like you all of a sudden like you're like, oh no, this isn't just, it doesn't feel like it's plot convenience. It just feels like this has actually happened. Is he gonna die? Like at some point you almost thought like we're hitting end of season now. It's been a couple years for these companions. Like, are they going to die? They've almost hit their cell date,
There's that great shot with Ryan from behind, and it's like a POV shot, and it turns out to be the Doctor's POV, but you don't really know that until they show it to you. You're like, well, wait a minute. Oh, okay. All right, we're good. Which is a good reversal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least this might be spoiling things a little bit. Power of the Doctor, when what's his face? John Bishop, when Dan leaves the series.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, what a letdown that is. What a wet sock of an exit.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So I mean, if Graham and Ryan and Yaz weren't going to be around after this, like you kind of said earlier, at least they had something that could have acted as a departure point.
Yeah.
Although we must have known at the time that they were gonna be in the New Year's one, right?
I mean, they like we went this is COVID days, so who knows? I don't remember. I think we only found out officially like a couple weeks before the New Year's Day special went out. Revolution of the Daleks.
Was Revolution of the Daleks shot alongside
it?
Season 12, do you recall?
It was, okay. Except for one scene. They basically, I don't know what scene it was either. It must have been a scene they never used because because we don't get to talk about it in the Miniscope. He didn't direct it. But that weird scene where the Doctor says goodbye to Captain Jack over the phone, which nobody's actually on camera saying it. So they cobbled this together with whatever footage they had because they had to leave. Suddenly he had to go back to his home planet. Anyway, they shot one scene, apparently, said Chibnall, that just basically to test out, can we make Doctor Who during COVID, and they tried out a scene basically to insert in the episode to say, okay, we can do it. It can happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what scene that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of which Dalek thing is which. Which is the one where they're in the warehouse or the storage thing? Which
Eve
is
of the Daleks. That's
Eve
the
of the
third.
Daleks, the third. Yeah.
The third of the Dalek.
which is a really good use of the fact they're stuck with COVID.
Yeah, very much so. That's a perfect COVID episode. And Legend of the Sea Devils, which we do not have to talk about ever again, was not.
For whatever it's worth, just looking at some stuff here. John Barrowman confirmed he was back as Jack Harkness on November 23rd, 2020. And
a month before the episode, essentially.
Yeah, and the November 2020 issue of SFX magazine reported Chris Noth's return. So, and that Walsh and Cole would depart in the series. Depart the series in the episode.
There it is.
So yeah, we didn't know what was going on at the time. We knew they were going to be in there, or at least we assumed they were going to be in there, but we didn't know they were leaving. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
It gets very muddled, muddled because of how far ahead they shot.
They were, just
like the Gawa era. I was going to say
a little bit like that. That like honestly, as I look through my notes, a lot of them is just basically the drama and the tension of all, like, you know, when everyone's planning to blow out the oxygen out of the spaceship to shoot themselves towards the cyber cruiser. Like, there's some real proper like terror to that. Like, is this gonna work? Like, you know, kind of like Dave Bowman preparing himself to shoot out of the pod into the spaceship in 2001. You know, like, just like real, like, oh my god, like, you know, that's the whole thing that sort of cast over it. Not so much shots and directorial choices, but like Magnus Stone setting the tone.
The mood is
it's grim.
Like laid out, I guess.
Yeah, and it's properly grim, as it should be grim. You know, everything looks messy and grubby, and as it should be. And it's and I honestly, like, I don't see where the smaller budget is, you know, compared to Disney stuff.
Yeah.
I was like looking like, okay, surely there's going to be like some really bad CG in there or some, you know, obvious green screen, but
there is some bad compositing with both Tectoon or whatever I'll never get it right. The Timeless Child, and beforehand with the Irish Timeless Child, where they're falling off cliffs, and that's some bad compositing.
It's slow motion shots of close-ups of people falling off things has never been good, and I've seen them in multiple different shows.
Die Hard with the undercranked, that works because he didn't know that he was getting dropped, that they were doing it, and when they were. So that's genuine surprise on his face.
Yeah,
and that's an anamorphic lens too.
Yeah, so. I know. I at least like that Jamie Magnus Stone did the exact same effect basically. So it looks crap in faux Ireland, but it looked just as crap on
thematically
Gallifrey.
It ties in together. Yeah.
Exactly. So you realize that, oh, wait a second, that Timeless Child is actually the Irish kid who fell off the cliff.
That's about the only way you can do it, because they just blink and you misexplain it. I'm like, really? Okay, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I may, I'll happily counter that with one positive compositing shot, and that was when the giant cyber ship comes out of warp and just stops in the atmosphere just up above the barrier.
That
is very
fantastic.
Good.
I was in all caps, one in my notes. I loved that one. Yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah, that was really cool. I also love the bit when they're watching the Cybermen look at the tombs, for lack of a better word, of the Cybermen in there, and it's on like a view screen, like a CCTV kind of view screen, and the camera sort of pushes in to that view screen, and then it sort of like really fades around, and then we're just in that scene.
I love when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Did they do it the third Doctor episode too?
They did it with Day of the Daleks.
That's the one.
Yeah, with some pretty proto CSO. That's some. Yeah, why can't I think of the name of the director? Paul.
It's just pretty
Paul
clever.
Bernard. Bernard, yeah. A little bit of clever stuff with there. That's what I thought was cool. The one other than the righteous negative notes that we've given here is that old Brendan isn't an actual credited actor. He is just a featured extra, which is...
Was that because he doesn't get any lines?
He doesn't get any lines.
He does get electrocuted quite a bit.
I think someone overdubs this line. Like, just his reaction to... like his dad and the police chief showing up at his retirement, and neither is aged a day. And
I assumed his dad had died or something, right?
But
so that'd be a real freak out.
Exactly. And his reaction wasn't that of an actor. And I feel like they should have cast a proper actor for that. He's not even in the credits. I tried to look for him, like, what else has he been in? And
Maybe he's part of the crew or something.
You're right, because so like that kind of let me down a little bit. I wish they would have found an actual actor. No offense to that guy.
He does resemble the previous actors. I'll give him that.
And maybe that's why, like, let's get his dad in or something like that to sure, it's a short scene. He's only in it for basically one bit. He gets tied to a chair and electrocuted. But I don't know. It just kind of minimized that impact, I think, when he looks over and just says, okay, I'm just going to turn and look this way now. Like, there's no real shock or like bewilderment on his face when he sees those two before him. The music is, and everyone else knows what's going on, but he doesn't. And that kind of let me down a little bit. But obviously it didn't affect you two, but that's fine.
The actor or whoever he may be,
who I know, don't even know his name.
That was a little limp. Yes.
Yeah. That's all my know. Anything else you have on the first 51 minutes and change that this episode was before we move fully into Timeless John?
I had a few notes, most of which have been covered off. So just, I guess there might be a little more specificity in some of these, but just before the cyber ships enter the atmosphere, Warren, I think, alluded to this. The camera is very fluid.
Yeah.
It's moving a lot. It's jittery. It's wibbly. It's just going all over the place. Saving Private Ryan is how you compared it, which I think is reasonable. But yeah, there's like the camera, and then the camera facing upwards. Cyber ships enter the atmosphere. It looks good. The use of the locations overall, amazing, just fantastic. Like, I looked up where that cliff was.
Yeah,
and it's on the far west coast of Wales, and it looks like it might as well be Ireland for as green and lush as it is.
Don't add us, Ireland.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
I know. Friends of mine recently went to Ireland and visited the west coast of Ireland, and we also don't at me. Erica watched a Lindsay Lohan movie, Irish Wish, which was also filmed in Western Ireland. And I looked at it and I thought, you know what? This isn't entirely dissimilar to the topography of Newfoundland. You know, like it's like that same
does
Atlantic.
Make a certain amount of sense. Yeah,
that even though it's separated by a few thousand kilometers.
No, but people settle where they're like. I've said this before, maybe not on the podcast. I was talking to a guy from Iran, and he told me the reason so many Iranian people, Persian people, settled in North Vancouver is because it looks just like Tehran. And I looked at the picture of Tehran, and he's absolutely right. Like the mountains and the building, the way everything is laid out is exactly the same as Tehran. So
bear in mind, once upon a time, Ireland and Newfoundland weren't that far apart.
That's true. Yeah. So what I mean to say is, if you want to, if you have money to burn Doctor Who and you're making Doctor Who in 2032 for the next season,
come to Canada.
Shoot Newfoundland. Shoot Newfoundland.
The dream is fulfilled. Finally.
Shoot Newfoundland. All right. Newfoundland wants Doctor Who. Why don't we do it now? Why don't we? What else is St. John's doing? Make Doctor Who in St. John's. Come on.
What else? Just right off the province.
Just do it. Let's just go. So many locations.
I just want 17th Doctor Kate Blanchett to kiss the cod. Have it behind the scenes of kissing the cod.
Drinking Screech.
Oh, yeah.
I've run out of my Newfoundland stereotypes.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone is like, they're floated back to Cardiff because they're still based there for some reason. You go, oh, no, it's a half an hour later. Crap, we just...
Damn it.
We messed it up again. We're not going to get that shipment in time. Anyway.
At least they're not shooting in Australian time zones.
Oh, it's true. Ascension.
Anyway, I'll just go finish off. I don't have much on my list, so let's finish it off here.
Right.
The whole like jittery camera close up thing and whatnot. He does that a lot, because I had a comparable note in the Spyfall Praxeus discussion last time. And then just, I think Warren also touched on this part, but Jodie's performance when she's telling the fam to go with the other humans and just putting the foot down and the firmness, and it's so unlike anything we've seen in 2 years of her episodes, and it's great.
And it's underplayed. That's why I like it too. It's not, there's no melodrama in this at all. It feels like actual humans behaving with, other humans. Yeah. Feels like real TV with Doctor Who as a skin to it, Warren, you got any last thoughts?
No, that's Chris pretty much covered off anything I hadn't. So
all right, Thomas Children. Then I love that the pre-title sequence is just the recap. I love it when they do that. Love it. So that started off on a good foot. The cyber ship appearing out of warp. My notes are a little more spare for part 2, admittedly, because it is just a
mine too.
It is a continuation of. And I don't remember what I thought of the whole timeless child aspect of it all at the time. I know that when Kyle Anderson and I talked about it on the memory cheats, I think we kind of soured on it, basically a good chunk of the episode being an extended PowerPoint VR presentation.
Which it is. Although I do enjoy getting a lower dump if it's done well. And this one is done okay, I guess.
It's done okay. It's done okay.
The master as a narrator as well, so...
And there's some nice shots that sort of like when he's discussing it with her, he's doing like the talk to the camera thing, which I thought was pretty effective. And there's another great shot where when she's out of like the Matrix or whatever it is, and he's talking it's shot low and he's talking not quite at the camera, but he's like looking for some stuff, and then she's kind of prowling around behind him, and I thought that was very effective.
Oh yeah, I think I know the scene you mean. Yeah. Jodie Whittaker's a good acting in the background doctor while the villain has the foreground. She's sort of like skulking about,
And it's hard not to give him the foreground because he is out of control crazy in this. But Power of the Doctor, he goes a little too over the top, and here he's just over the top enough, I think. And he basically has the floor for the first 45, 50 minutes of this whole episode as well, which is kind of yeah, I don't know how you feel about that. The Doctor is literally a bystander and a viewer. I'm not thrilled with that
for a good chunk of it, but that's not the director.
My main
but
sin, and this is writing, is the Cyber Lords are a stupid idea, and they always will be. And then when they show up in gowns and the silly whatever's
regalia.
Regalia. That's a good way to put it. Which is well designed, but it just looks dumb as hell. And they also have spikes for some reason. I don't know. And then they just regenerate it.
They had spikes before. The spikes were on the Cybermen.
Oh, I guess that's
in the
right.
ship.
They did. Yeah,
but they're built up to be, and you'd think if you combine Cyber and Time Lord together, that would be a huge threat to the universe. But at the same time, all they ever do is take over that train, like in Power of the Doctor, and that's kind of it. And then we just kind of forget about them, which I'm more than happy to do, frankly.
We'll talk about Power of the Doctor in a couple weeks' time. But I like the cyber design in this one. They might be my favorite modern series design because the earmuffs are back, and that might be like all I need. Basically, I want their heads to be bigger, which I kind of like.
And the light at the top, like in Invasion.
Yeah, they made them like how I like them back in the day, and so therefore it's the best. So
I don't know. I think the Mondasians from the Capaldi stories are such perpetrators of odd violence. That's why I like them so much because they're just what a goofy looking monstrosity, but then he makes it somehow scary as hell. So
that's true because you see how they it's the body horror
how they're formed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Well, thanks to Rachel Talalay, I'm sure, for some of that at least.
True. Yes.
68 minutes this episode was. 68 minutes.
And a good half of it is explanatory flashbacks,
a lot of
which aren't terrible, and they're kind of nice looking.
Yep. I thought the scenes were more or less well done. Although once again we have kind of featured extras in prominent roles as we did with Brendan with in the previous episode. Tech Tayoun is just sort of an actor who doesn't really say much and stuff. Like I don't know. I might have said this at the time. I don't know how you make that whole scene better. I feel like I think at the time I might have said like it would have been great if like the master would have plunked her in there and like she would have to figure it out, like stumble around and figure it out herself as to just be told, but I don't know how that would have been properly done.
I wonder if the narration and holding of the hand through the story. I wonder if that's just for some sort of time efficiency, which in a 68-minute episode seems counterproductive somehow.
Right.
But
maybe it was even longer in the original. Like, oh, we got to think about this again. What if he just says it? What if he just tells her? Can we just do that instead?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I if I had the time and energy, I would love to look at different iterations of the script to know where like, was that there from the start? Was it always in place? Is it a late edition or whatever?
Well, maybe hopefully when they get to the modern series with the collections, maybe they'll have the various different camera and rehearsal scripts there too that we can compare and contrast. Anyway.
Oh, you're dreaming of it, haven't you?
Yeah, probably a little bit, yeah.
One thing I do like is some of the continuity shots. This will make sense when I explain it, I hope. Where Tech-Toon is flying into Gallifrey, and they don't show a landing or anything. It's just you see the one unbroken shot of her landing on Gallifrey and then coming right back with a different ship. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then where they have shots of her, and then the background, all the time lapse stuff is happening, which I thought was a neat way to sort of bring continuity to this tale.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I see what you mean there. Yeah, that was that was pretty cool. The scenes of the crazy weird time spire where they found that the timeless child also was kind of cool, I thought. I'm just trying to see what else.
I mean, she's not doing very good things to this child. Let's be honest. That's
true.
Bad
basically torturing the poor kid. Yeah,
but she got her. She got her desired end result.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but just the overall look again, like in some of these. Stuff like the hilltop confrontation scene, I thought was pretty cool. Like just bleak, just in the middle of nowhere on top of this hill where the Doctor and the Master have it out. I did put a little thing in brackets here that said, I'll read it. There would be a dozen flashbacks of Gallifrey, and the clip of the deadly assassin would be playing on a monitor somewhere if this was an RTG2
which he makes mention of. Like he just says, "Oh, you remember assassinating a president?" Over there at Panopticon, but he just mentions it. He doesn't. We don't have to get a flashback or anything.
Yeah, right. Like I feel like that would have been a thing.
That's Stephen's point. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when they do the member berries, because when the Master's on Gallifrey with the Cybermen, it's tough to avoid them.
Yeah, that's true.
And you do kind of have to paint like, okay, here's what we did here. Remember the times that we had here? And like, well, you know what? The deadly assassin was the time that you had there. So I guess it's right that you bring it up. But they didn't.
A skeleton at the time. But
see, I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad they didn't.
But why not mention the Master and the Cybermen together in the Five Doctors at Rassilon's Tower?
It has to be tied together for my nerd brain.
It has to be mentioned. Why aren't there screens everywhere showing old episodes of Doctor Who? Come on.
Why aren't they in a memory TARDIS? Damn it.
Yeah.
One thing that I could really not wrap my head around either time I watched this is I'm like, wait a minute. Graham and Yaz and these other three randos are just wandering around Gallifrey. Like I in my head, Yaz and Graham have never been to Gallifrey, but they have. So, but it just doesn't fit in my brain.
Well, I know. Yeah.
I did like when the Doctor sees them. First words out of her mouth are basically, "No humans on Gallifrey."
Yeah.
Which is another callback to Sarah Jane. So
yeah, and Deadly Assassin again, if you will.
Well, that was the story that came after the
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. They had a nice scene. Graham and Yaz had just a nice little character scene that we just don't see that much. In
the Yorkshire love letter.
Yeah. She delivers that so well. And his little soliloquy is great too.
Bradley Walsh, man. Bradley Walsh.
Yeah.
It's also not the first time they've done that, because they have a similar scene in Demons of the Punjab where they're just sitting on the porch and or was it Spyfall?
More or less the beginning of their relationship.
No, it was Ryan and Yaz.
It might be Spyfall.
No, it was Ryan and Yaz and Spyfall.
Yeah, Ryan and Yaz and Spyfall.
Graham and Yaz and Demons.
Yeah, Ryan and Yaz and Rosa. I like that. This is what you do with the larger time team. Is basically you have the opportunity to have little sit down moments and everyone sort of talk it out and see what's going on and check in how they're doing with this, because they are just humans and stuff. But yeah, Bradley Walsh is just a winner. He's even at the time I thought like, oh, we had to get an old guy to ease everyone else into having a female doctor for the first time. But no, he's just great. He's great.
We were all, and by all I mean fandom, we're all worried about having we got a middle-aged guy here and a white guy in here, and that happened with John Bishop too. But both of them were great.
Yeah, they were. And he just good.
John Bishop's exit was, like I say, a little
but his general presence was good.
It was it was one of the nicer aspects of Flux in many ways.
that we'll get to. I haven't seen Flux in a long time. I'm looking forward to watching that again. I know, Chris, you just watched the box set recently, but
yep, just a few months back.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, I'm cool watching stuff again because why not?
Mm-hmm.
It looks really great. Those Blu-rays, honestly, they do look very, very good.
And they're not even 4K, Chris. That's true.
Not even 4K. Well, was it shot in 4K?
Oh, I'm sure it was. When did they start shooting in 4K? That's something I'd like to know.
It's got to be. It had, because they had areas and you don't use Cook and Onionu, or how the hell you say it. I'm probably saying that wrong too. Lenses and not shooting 4K.
Right.
And that at that time, people were shooting everything in 4K. I guarantee the masters are in 4K if we aren't seeing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about Moffat stuff.
Because Once Upon a Time was released on 4K Blu-ray.
Oh,
so I assume
or Twice Upon a
that
Time.
forward.
Yeah.
Twice Upon a Time. Twice Upon a Time. I assume that forward is probably when 4K was in place, which means
I'm guessing, but I can't see Jody's era not being 4K.
I think that's for sure 4K.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
it seems so unlikely.
I'm wondering if like Day of the Doctor, would that be 4K? They shot in 3D. I know that.
It's 2013, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not. It's probably just 1080p.
I wonder where it is. Well, we're going to find out for you when we do, when we talk about something other than Jamie Magnus Stone, who we should be talking about right now. I like that there was the shot that after the master shrinks Ashad really quickly and then picks him up.
Which is damn funny.
It is amusing, and Chibnall regretted it and just brought him back for Power of the Doctor just because he liked him. But I love the long scene that's basically just Sacha Dhawan picking up this tiny little toy you would find in in a Doctor Who Collector magazine or something, and just has this like soliloquy, like alas poor Ashad, I knew him, and it's just one shot, on Dhawan during a good chunk of that, which I just thought I love a good minimalist director take when somebody's delivering a bit of a speech, and that was perfect. So well done, Jamie Magnus Stone, for doing that. Made me happy.
I don't know who's responsible for it, but so when the Master and Ashad are having the hollow conversation, Ashad is huge.
Right.
On the Master's end, but on Ashad's end, the Master is normal sized.
I see the hollow. I thought hollow HOLLOW. I get you now.
No, HOLO.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The H hologram call, whatever. I just don't know why they were differently sized as well. It just seemed weird.
Well, maybe because you can put a zoom background on your end, but on the other end, it doesn't show up.
Who knows?
Who knows?
There's a reason out there.
Yeah.
I do love in the hollow conversations and in that weird sort of Superman-esque cage thing that Jodie's in, the light coming off of those things onto the actors, I think really works.
The light of what thing? Sorry.
Like that the cage thing she's in with the little circle hoops.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like sort of fiery fluorescence. And
the Matrix
I just
cage.
like the casting of the light off those things onto both of them. I think really works.
Yeah, but
also in the hollow scenes, the same kind of effect happens.
That's right. Like using the sort of, if you will, the natural light of the set to actually be the light of
exactly. I mean, they
shots.
might be juicing that with a real light, and then that's an effect, but still, it still works. It sells it.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. I don't know the way the camera lenses are now. I mean, they shot Villa Diodati and Hyde with actual candles in those scenes.
Yeah,
something that Kubrick would have dreamed of back when he was making Barry Lyndon back in the day.
He did it. He didn't dream of it. He
had to make like special lenses and stuff that, like block out light everywhere just to light something with candlelight. So it's like
ADR must have been insane because of how fast that film must have been going. It's just like a giant motorboat sound, and you're like standing by the mag with like a fire extinguisher waiting.
Just like shooting a 12-minute reel of film about 4.5 minutes because we got to shoot
exactly. Now everybody stay exactly still. Come on, and it has to last as long as this, chamber music.
I love the scenes of the extreme close-ups in the of the eyes of the humans in the cyber costumes when the shot is like sort of like sniffing them out, seeing he's suspicious of maybe these Cybermen in these particular tombs aren't what they seem to be, and I don't know, I thought that was a really good, well directed scene of just playing up on the tension of all that. Is that it? Is that all I got for this? Leaving the fam. I think we already talked about like the Doctor leaving the family and going out to, having the single piano piece and the confrontation between the Master and the Cybermen, and it's all, underplayed. Like I just there were no bits of bombast. So like when the Doctor sort of like bursts out of the Matrix itself with the Doctor Who theme sort of playing underneath at a slightly higher speed, like it felt like something. It wasn't like.
It still made me roll my eyes a bit.
It made me roll my eyes a bit, but it wasn't at like 13 to coin a number. It wasn't like there. It was building up to it. I just felt like there's some good quiet spots in this time period of Doctor Who, and I complained a lot about the Shudigawa era. And again, I hate to compare the two, but like they didn't leave moments to breathe in the episodes. It was always just go go go. Even Peter Davis saying they're jumping over plot points just to get to the next beat. And in this time period, when you can do 68-minute episodes apparently, and you can do it quite easily, episodes breathed, and there were good character moments in them, and the scenes were well directed, and I liked it. I don't know yet how I feel about what it did to Time Lord lore and the Doctor Who lore, and how much RTD picked up on it afterwards with the Timeless Children thing. But
I don't mind that RTD didn't, garbage can it. I'm kind of glad about that. Like even if I don't particularly think it's all that great, and I'm kind of like in the middle on it.
Right.
I like that he didn't say, "Oh, okay, I'm just completely rewriting it," which, to be fair, Moffat really did do, and I was for it in Day of the Doctor. Oh yeah, all that stuff he came up with. Bye, gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it was about time for that to happen too. But
yeah, that's the end of my meandering list of notes. I don't know what everybody else has. When it comes
the Joe
to
Martin stuff, like every Joe Martin appearance ever, I love Joe Martin as a Doctor, and none of it makes any. Nobody has made any attempt for it to make sense, and I'm not sure if I like or hate that.
She's just there to give advice, basically, and go away.
Yeah, and I think that kind of is a cheapening of her Doctor, who has so much potential to be doing so much more. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't want to overshadow the Doctor that's in the show, but
although I mean, there has to do with the Master. That's another.
I suppose so. Yeah,
it's less wasteful than her in the story in the engine, though.
Mm-hmm. Or in Power of the Doctor. Well, that's me out then. Well, okay, I mean, I'm glad you're here, but also, I'm glad that she has Big Finish stuff now, because there's so much you could be doing with this Doctor.
Yeah. Thankfully, that's not a directing thing.
No, it isn't. No.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just to lead toward wrapping things up, the main things I had in my notes were about just the use of shadow with Ashad.
Yeah.
And just having him, turn toward, not at facing the camera, but turn more toward the camera, and the shadows covering the human side of his face, and all you really see is the Cyberman side, and it just looks so good.
Yeah, it's really well implemented, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 4 episodes out of 10 he did Jamie Magnus Stone of that entire season of Doctor Who. Astounding when you think about it, and probably, given how long some of these episodes were, probably about 50% of its actual duration. Shocking. Haven't seen that kind of domination of an entire season of Doctor Who for quite some time. Any final thoughts on these two-parters on this season, I guess, of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who, the last regular season of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who, we shall say.
With these 2 episodes, they're not as noticeably directed as the previous 2 we covered, but I think part of that is because they kind of have to be the writer's domain because of what they are.
That's a good point. Yeah. He doesn't get in the way. He doesn't try to make it his show,
there's
basically.
That too,
yeah, he's capturing stuff and just sort of making, and the performances played out too. I think the performances are basically, they're reacting to a whole bunch of stuff now that's been building up over the course of the season. So the best thing is to not get in the way of that, to have it all sort of play out on screen and capture it, which is often what a good director does. So
I do have one final note, which is silly, which is Barusa, all caps, revealed in the style of YouTube as the teacher of the Doctor and the Master, which made me go, well, that orients the lore a little bit, where it's like we had to put up with these guys when they were kids. Okay. Well, that explains a lot about why they all hate him.
Well, that's about 9 out of 10. I mean,
I suppose that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no. Chris, any final thoughts on these 2 episodes?
No, I mean, the biggest things to talk about for these episodes is the writing, the story. And as much as we tried not to do that, we still did. And I don't think there was any way not to do that. But like Magnus Stone, he does good work.
He does.
I guess.
He does indeed. And has caused me to reappraise this whole era of Doctor Who, I think, a lot more now that some more time has passed since we first saw it.
I think that might happen with the Shooty era too. We're just too close to it right now.
Yeah, could be. Well, we'll see how we do on the next installment, kids. It's Flux. It's Doctor Who Flux. Jamie Magnus Stone directed the first block of that, which is the Halloween Apocalypse, War of the Sontarans, and Village of the Angels. Some might say the good 3 episodes of Flux before everything might have gone off the rails a little bit, but I'm looking forward to revisiting Flux again, which will be an interesting conversation.
Or at least half of it.
Or at least half of it. I mean, I'm gonna compel myself not to watch the other 3 episodes, which I don't think were directorial failures. I think it was everything sort of coming to a head and having to deal with it in a nice, tidy fashion, which did not quite happen. But they tried, damn it. You try making an expensive TV show in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, one in every 100 years event. So
exactly. Yeah. So anyway.
Hopefully.
Yes. That is the next one, everyone. So that's your homework. 1, 2, and 4 of Flux. You do not need to watch the other 3. You can if you wish to, but we won't be talking about them in any great detail. Looking forward to it. Hope you are as well. So in the meantime, and indeed in between time, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.